The digital production buzz at NAB is sponsored by Maxon and by Simply, a global distribution brand.
Right now, it's day one of the 2019 NAB Show, and in this episode, we're talking with Carol Hess for HP, Bryce Button for AJA Video Systems, Justin Emge for Clearcom, and Michael Gailing for Creative Solutions. This is The Buzz at NAB.
Live from the 2019 NAB Show in Las Vegas. Technology, products, media, news. Connecting media professionals around the globe with the latest in technology. The NAB Show Buzz starts now.
And welcome back. My name is Larry Jordan. We've changed the position of our booth, and now we look out over the entire South Lower Trade Show floor. We see hundreds of booths and thousands of people walking around. It's an exciting time because so many people are learning about new technology and new products, which is what this whole series of Buzz shows is about. Our next guest is Carol Hess. She's the Global Vice President for Z by HP product line, and I'm very anxious to find out more about what the product line consists of. Hello, Carol. Welcome.
Hi, Larry. Thanks for having me here today.
So what does a global vice president do?
Oh, luckily, I have one of the best jobs in the world. I get to talk to customers, understand their challenges and their problems, and then develop great products to solve those solutions.
So when you say develop, are you in charge of sales, development, or the whole shooting match?
So what's nice is I get to talk to those customers and then work with our engineers who really have all that technology, and then work with our partners who have new technologies coming down the road, and marry those two together to have a great solid roadmap that our customers want.
Well, for people that are not familiar with the Z by HP product line, what's that?
So Z is our name, our brand of our workstation products. And Z by HP, because it actually is so important that we've raised this Z brand above our master brand of HP. So what that means is these are our workstations. There are desktop workstations, there are mobile workstations. We also have Z displays. So it's a full portfolio of products for those customers that have those high performing needs. They need lots of processing power, they need high-end graphics, and lots of the customers that are here today, media and entertainment industry for sure.
Well, HP has been known for high-quality products since before both of us were born. Why bring this brand to the foreground? Why not just use an HP brand?
So actually, Z and Z Workstations has been around for, I think it's at least 20, 25 years now. So it's nothing new. What we're doing is bringing new features into that product line and really bringing new levels of performance, new levels of security, new levels of reliability to what our customers' needs are.
Well, new is what NAB is all about. So what have you got that's new for your Z workstations?
So what's great about our product line today is in our Z8 platform as well as our Z platform, Z6 platform, there are workstation desktop products. We've worked with Intel, and we have the new scalable Xeon processors in these. So if you have a very heavy I/O intensive, heavy threaded application that you're working on, these new scalable processors will improve the performance there. The other thing that HP has partnered with Intel on is their new Optane DC persistent memory module, which is a little bit of a mouthful to say. But what's great about this is it allows the user and the performance that's being done to be offloaded and moved closer to the CPU and the processing that takes place. It's also very persistent. So if there happens to be some sort of downtime that might occur or some outage, when the system comes back up again, all of your data is still there. And it's a much more affordable solution than solutions today. So as software vendors start rewriting applications to take advantage of this Optane persistent memory, the users will see this performance boost and this persistent benefit and advantage.
One of the advantages to having an exhibitor pass, which I just happened to be wearing around my neck, is that I had a chance to wander the hall on Sunday as everybody was setting up. and I saw the Z booth, and I also saw there's some Dreamcolor monitors in there. Now, is Dreamcolor part of your purview as well?
Absolutely. Dreamcolor is one of the key pieces of what we provide to customers, particularly in the media and entertainment area.
How so?
We started with Dreamcolor 11 years ago, and every year we started providing more enhancements and improvements to it. What's great about Dreamcolor is for customers who are doing color critical work, which lots of videos and movies and a lot of the work here M&E customers do here at NAB is all tied to that color criticality. So being able to provide that's great. In 2015, one of the nice things is we were actually recognized by the Academy of Motion Pictures because of our technology and how it has helped people in the industry. One tidbit I love to share with people is for the last 6 years, 80% of the films that had been nominated for an Academy Award for video and video editing and color criticality was all tied to customers that had used Dreamcolor. So that's really showing the proof of what that product can do for our users.
Well, we've talked about your products and we've talked about Dreamcolor. Let's talk about some of the new features. What's the cool stuff?
Well, there's also one more thing I'd like to share aside from just features of hardware is we have solutions as well that we've worked with some of our partners on. So 2 partnerships we announced here at NAB as well. One of them was with Avid and with our RGS. If you're familiar with our workstation products, the Z workstations, one of the key pieces we offer is RGS, Remote Graphics Software. So this allows customers to remotely go from, say, a ZBook 17 that they might be working on at a remote location, and then remote into a more powerful, maybe Z8 workstation that's back at their office. So they have this remote ability to do editing or whatever it might be, a collaboration on a system that's in another location. So we partnered with Avid, and Media Composer is a great example of something that you might want to do some editing on, but you might want to be on the go and remotely do that. So we've partnered together, and you can see a demo over in our booth of Media Composer with Avid and our workstations.
How are you handling security? Because as soon as we start to move assets over the cloud, or over the net, we have a problem.
So security is huge for us at HP overall, but for sure with our Z workstations. So the Z workstations are the most secure workstations on the planet. And when I say that, that's for both our desktop workstations as well as our mobile workstations. We make sure that we protect users' identity, users' data, and the devices. So all 3 of those. And there's lots of things that are built right into our Z workstation products. 1 or 2 examples I'll give you is something called HP Sure Start. What this means is as a customer is using their product, the BIOS is constantly being checked to see if any attacks are made on it. And if there is, seamlessly in the background, it's protected before the user even knows there was an issue. So another one we have is Sure Click. You know how you go out on the web and you click on something and, oh no, I may have clicked something I shouldn't have? It contains that in that session that you opened up. Any malware that might have happened, just close out that window and it's gone. So lots of ways that security can protect the users out there.
So are you going to tell me about the new features, or do I just have to be left hanging here?
So the new features include the Z Workstation Z8 and Z6 with the new Xeon Scalable processors, as well as the Optane DC persistent memory module.
Now, you've talked about both of those, but what does scalable mean to you?
So scalable just allows it to grow as you want to grow or as the user wants to grow. So you can go up to as high as 56 cores. So it's quite... I'm going to say scalable again. It grows with you as the user grows.
Can I change the processor in the unit?
You can do lots on your desktop workstations, the Z6 and Z8. There's lots of configurations you can make. You can change processors. You can use the expansion slots. You can change out memory, hard drives, all sorts of configurability and expandability.
So do you have a favorite laptop for working on the road?
Oh, it's so hard to choose because there's so many out there. I would say probably our ZBook X360. My favorite one because it's a convertible, it's light, you can take it with you, but it's got great performance.
Nothing like picking between your children. For people that want more information, where can they go on the web?
So of course they can go to hp.com, they can go to Z by HP, so hashtag Z by HP, and they'll see all the new products that we have.
That website is hp.com. Look for the Z by HP brand. Carol Hess is the Global VP for Z by HP products. And Carol, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Larry. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Every year at the NAB Show, you'll find more than a few attendees camping out at the Maxon Cinema 4D booth all day. Why? Because Maxon hosts presentations by the most respected 3D artists in visual effects, motion graphics, and design. This year, there will be 28 unique presentations from 21 different artists. Even if you're not attending NAB, you can watch all the Cinema 4D presentations streaming live at c4dlive.com. And if you register, you'll be entered into a raffle to win from over $20,000 in prizes. Can't watch live? No worries. All presentations will be made available on demand on the Maxon YouTube channel a few weeks after the show. Maxon Cinema 4D. Stop by Maxon's booth at NAB in South Lower 6324 or tune in to the live stream at c4dlive.com. That's C, the number 4, D, live.com. And welcome back. We're talking to Michael Gailing. He's the VP of Marketing for Teradek. And Michael, it's good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So tell me what Teradek is doing these days.
So we focus primarily on two different things. Wireless video, primarily in the cinema space, and also live streaming for broadcasters and what we call independent content creators. Anybody from YouTube stars to family and friends streaming high school sports.
Who would be typical customers for Teradek, and how would it be used?
Well, let's start on the cinema space. We find that many of our customers use our most popular product, the Teradek Bolt, which is a zero latency, uncompressed wireless video transmitter. And these devices are found on pretty much every A-list movie set you can think of. Anything from Disney and Marvel films to independent films that are now being picked up by Netflix, Amazon Prime, and a lot of the new OTT content. Outside of the cinema space, we're finding a really big surge in live streaming for our live streaming products in the house of worship market, education, especially football and high school sports. Just crazy amounts of streaming now, and lots of new startups that are doing all sorts of really wonderful stats taking for these games, and then of course using our technology to stream it.
So what have you got for us that's new here at NAB?
So we recently acquired a company out of Israel called Animon, and they're a semiconductor company. And they had some proprietary technology that had been in the works for about 10 years. And that has resulted in what we call the Bolt 4K. That is the world's first 4K HDR wireless video transmitter, no delay, literally no delay, less than 1 millisecond, and it can go up to 1,500 feet. So that means now, especially in the cinema space, you can have an entire 4K workflow from the few cameras that have a live 4K output to the $50,000 Sony and Canon 4K monitors and see the entire thing in real time.
Oh my goodness. What kind of bandwidth does that require?
It's so it operates on the 5 gigahertz band. And it's a lossless transmission, and we have this proprietary technology that, kind of in a nutshell, we take coarse bits and fine bits of data, and we transmit it over a huge anywhere from a 40 megahertz to 20 megahertz pipe, receive it back, reassemble, and it's absolutely stunning. It's a 10-bit 422 transmission all the way through.
So I would need one at, where would this be placed? At the camera end or at the DIT end? Where does this go? So
the transmitters would sit on the camera end, and the receivers would be back at, say, Video Village, or if you've got a director's handheld monitor, it could be on there too. These systems can multicast, so up to 6 receivers simultaneously. So you can have 1 or 2 back at Video Village, you could have on an A-cam, B-cam, you name it. You can have multiple systems all working at the same time.
Wow. Very cool. And has this released or just announced?
So we're shipping it in about a month. And this, like I said, this technology has been worked on for the greater part of, I'd say, 10 years. There's been numerous iterations, first starting with, HD systems, which we've been selling for a while now. And little by little, we managed to find a way to get 4K through, 5 gigahertz, sorry.
That's an amazing compression ratio. Just to have it look good is even more impressive.
Well, that's the thing. So it's, a lot of other transmitters out there, there's kind of two key things here. In cinema, you can't have latency. You can't have delay, especially if you're, flying a drone and you're, especially in Pirates of the Caribbean, they've got those great aerial shots. If you've got some delay, that could be, 10 seconds, or not even 10 seconds, it could be a second from hitting a pole and taking out an aerial EXA camera, right? And that's, those rigs are hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And it's also time. Time is equal to money in cinema, and so every minute can be potentially $10,000. So you can't afford to have any delay or any of that risk. So there's no delay, number one. Number two, in compressed transmitters, it's very difficult to get really good color and very good highlights. So you don't get the HDR, you don't get the real vibrant colors. So what ends up happening is the director doesn't really know what the final shot is looking like. With our systems, you get a much, much closer look at what you're getting.
Very cool. Anything else new for the show?
That's the big thing for us. We do have...
Well, it's a huge thing, and you should be very proud of it. I want more. I want to have everything all the time right now. Oh, before you change that, have you announced pricing for this new transmitter?
So a transmitter and receiver system, a pair, is $4,000 for one. That goes up to 750 feet. The 1,500-foot model is $7,990, which is nothing for A-list cinema. Absolutely nothing.
No, but it's a hit to my credit card.
It would be, I'd be curious to see what camera you're using it with. You let me know what 4K camera you got.
My iPhone shoots 4K, and I'll just beam that back. And you say it's shipping in about a month. Yeah,
it'll be shipping in May. Alongside another big announcement we made at the show this year, we also do wireless follow focus systems. So these go hand in hand with the wireless video transmission systems. You connect these systems to any cinema grade camera or even lesser if you need to. And these have motors attached to the focus, iris, and zoom of the lens. And you're able to control you can pull focus in real time for up to 5,000 feet away. So, and this is...
Pull focus wirelessly?
Yeah, and you've been able to do this for a long time, but what sets us apart...
I have trouble focusing when my hand is on the lens.
If only you could do this with glasses, right? These aren't working for me, I don't want to buy new glasses. I'm just going to, I'll focus it with my phone, right?
Mm-hmm. Dial it into a chip in your eye.
It would be beautiful. So,
well, beautiful is in the eye of the beholder, but anyway, keep going.
So we've got these new systems that have just come out. It's really made for the high end. I mean, 5,000 foot range. So not only can you transmit that 4K image with our Bolt 4K up in, say, aerial shots, you can also pull focus as it's flying away at the same time. And so... So at Teradek, we're all about wireless, right? And so these things work in tandem. They don't interfere with each other. And we're enabling cinematographers to get shots that they never were able to get in quality that they were never able to get before.
Very, very cool. Anything else that we should talk about?
I think that's it. If you're in the market for such a thing, I can help you out. We're giving a 5% discount at the show.
You are just the model of generosity. But for people that are trying to decide, Teradek makes a bunch of different products. Mm-hmm. For people that maybe not working with A-list budgets and have $800 million on their credit card, what's a good place to start? Where should we look at?
So we have other systems that are full HD. And especially if you're in the wireless video ecosystem, we have something called the Teradek Ace 500. It's based on very similar technology. It's actually the same company we acquired, same chipset, just slightly modified. And that starts at $1,000. So you can get in the game, same kind of cinema quality technology, 500 feet, HDMI, so you can connect it to that DSLR you got. And we have a sister company as part of our division, and they make monitors. They're called Small HD, and those monitors integrate with the wireless, so you can have your transmitter on the camera and your receiver on that monitor, and you and a buddy or you and a couple guys can go and shoot your skate videos and have a real cinematic experience.
And the big benefit is they don't have to stretch wires from the camera to the video village. It just simplifies the whole process of being on remote, because now I'm beaming the picture back rather than having to stretch wires to it.
That's exactly right.
For people who want more information, where can they go on the web?
You can go to teradek.com, Teradek.com.
And for those of you who are not listening quite that quickly, that's Teradek, Teradek.com. And Michael Gailing is the VP of Marketing for Creative Solutions, which includes Teradek. And Michael, this has been a fun visit. I wish you great success at NAB, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me here.
Take care. For those of you that walk into South Lower Hall, you walk about 5 steps in and you're greeted with a booth that's the size of Rhode Island, and emblazoned across the top are the letters AJA. If you've seen the booth, you know you can get lost in it. Well, Bryce Button is the Director of Product Marketing and is the guy that's responsible for filling this booth that is gigantic with very cool products. And Bryce, as always, it's fun to chat with you, and I've been looking forward to this conversation. Tell me first, position where AJ is today, because I remember back in the old days they were connectors, but they're far bigger than that now.
Yes, and thank you, Larry. It's great to be here again. We've arrived at this show.
You're always a fun guest.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a huge array of technologies that we're taking on in different ways, and it goes all the way from 12G SDI, baseband video, to IP, which is the transition, of course, to moving things essentially over the network, to HDR, which is probably the biggest visual creative explosion we've had in years that end users can really digest, to things like our new H.264 recorder that we've come out with at this show, called the KeyPro Go, where you've got nice compact file sizes that work really well for everyone, from Pro AV all the way up to proxy workflows for higher end production. And desktop software pieces. You know, we've got a lot of creatives that are working in color correction or editing, and we've done some great work there with Apple coming into the show, where we're extending ProRes encoding and decoding support across Mac, Windows, and Linux. You know, taking the pain out of people's creative workflows is really what AJA is about. We're not always necessarily the first with something. We try to listen to the decent conversation going on and figure out where are the bridges that really need to be built. We like to deal with pain points.
Well, the challenge especially for Windows users, is that encoding and decoding ProRes has been a real challenge. And now that I can offload that to HAA gear, makes working with ProRes on Windows a whole lot more accessible.
Yeah, we really did, spend a lot of time listening to users there, and there's a lot of teamwork that goes into modern production. As you'll know, you need to bounce between different roles on occasion, you need to bounce between different platforms, and you really need flexibility there. And so we provide that within the AJA control room software, and that's free. And it'll work as a standalone player too. You don't even have to own our hardware. And the idea there is, obviously the world's moved to a lot of file-based workflows. We have products like the Kona HDMI, which is input only. And instead of having to buy a display, you can play all these files directly on your machine. And another thing we've gotten into with this year's show is quite a big push with 8K. Now, we're not expecting...
Wait, just stop right there. 8K, and you expect me to take you seriously? Are you crazy?
Not that crazy. Now, I don't expect you to get 8K at home anytime soon, nor do I necessarily think that's going to be the biggest play here. What does matter is a fair amount of cameras today are shooting from 5K all the way up to even 10. So the issue is you get plates. And why this matters is it allows you to create pre-visual items. So you might even be working in HD, but you have your whole environment captured at this much bigger raster. Another area that we've explored that somewhat relates to this is work with gaming engines. So we've been working very closely with the Unreal Engine, which is a very common tool for what is now known as basically virtual production. And the point of virtual production is to give even the smaller operator, independent, the ability to really integrate CGI and these kind of things into their workflows And instead of having to render out tons and tons of files, you can literally rely on the gaming engine, which gives you a lot of flexibility. And they tie in with our cards, so you can stick a camera with a green screen and a host and have an incredible set. And a lot of the higher end, big Marvel films, etc., a lot of these productions are trying to use this gaming technology because the flexibility is so huge, and it makes it a lot easier for the actors. You can literally provide backgrounds and so on through the gaming engine on set, and they've got something that they're engaging with, which in the past has been pretty darn hard for everyone. So again, a lot of tools and bits in different places. As I said, the IP side's been pretty big. We've been cautious and moved with it initially with receivers. What we've done at this show is we've brought out a couple of what's called IPTs. They're little mini converters, and you can plug in a very cheap camera. It could be an HDMI camera or slightly higher end SDI camera, and we'll get it onto the network for you.
Now, have you adopted a protocol to do that?
Yes, we've gone along with the AIM standard, which is 2110. And this is a wide, broad standard, because the other thing is, if you've known us for a while, AJA tries to be agnostic. We're not trying to ever lock a user into a closed system. And basically, ST2110 right now is the emerging system for moving video across a network with predictability, and that really is the issue.
Predictability and quality and the lack of latency. You need all three.
Yep.
So what have you got that's new in addition to the stuff that you've already mentioned? We
got some open gear cards. So these are modular cards. At the beginning of the conversation, you talked about us creating converters. So for live environments, for broadcast trucks, that type of thing, you can effectively put a whole bunch of cards into open gear frame. So at the show, we've come out with 14 new cards like this. DAs.
I remember back in the day, before you joined HAA, their booth was like a 10, 20 by 20 booth that just had a wall of little converters on it. And it just amazes me how the company has grown over the years.
Yeah, we really have somewhat exploded from that point of view. And again, a lot of it is items of listening, and you find someone had an initial need, and when you really listen to the conversation, it goes a little further into their pipeline. And so you try to help them build an ecosystem that is really functional. And these open gear cards are part of that. There's so much live event stuff today, and there's so many broadcast trucks out there. And the explosion even in college sports, for instance.
Oh, and there's so many different formats that we have to support.
Yes.
We can no longer assume back in the days an SDI connection coming off a Digibeta deck would go anywhere. Now we're using 20, 30 different codecs in the same production.
Yeah, different codecs, different connection types. And, it really goes back to the core of who we are. We like to build bridges. We like to open the conversation.
What are you most excited about for all your announcements, whether it's a headline feature or not, for this NAB?
I think obviously we've got a new product with the KeyPro Go that's just going to make life easier for a lot of people because it does multi-channel recording in a single device.
And KeyPros are great. I love
they're
playing
solid
with them.
They really are solid. And then HDR. When it comes to the HDR space, we've tried to cover the need all over the place, whether it's editing, whether it's monitoring. But the transformation engines and the partnership we've gone through with ColorFront just keeps accelerating. So a great update for the analyzer, a great update for the FSHDR to do those transformations for you.
And for people that want more information about the products that AJA offers, where can they go on the web?
We'd love you to visit aja.com.
Now I like the simplicity of the web address. That's aja.com, and Bryce Button is the director of product marketing for HAA Video Systems. Bryce, it is always fun chatting with you. Thanks for sharing your time.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Larry.
Take care. Have a great show.
You too.
I want to introduce you to Simply Workspace. Powered by StoreNext 6, this new storage technology is the answer to how smaller post and in-house creatives can work simultaneously on high-resolution content without the hassle of big facility infrastructure. All your content is stored in one place. There's no moving and no copying files. Just plug in your Macs, PCs, or Linux workstations using a Thunderbolt cable and get to work. Simply Workspace is a professional-grade storage network. Starting at $10,995 for a 24-terabyte RAID system supporting 4 simultaneous Mac users. You can grow capacity and users as you need, up to 288 terabytes and 8 simultaneous users. No rack storage, no fiber channel, just the speed and ease you need. It's called Simply Workspace. That's S-Y-M-P-L-Y, Simply Workspace. Learn more at gosimply.com. Hi, this is Larry Jordan. Thank you for listening to our coverage of the 2019 NAB Show. Now, I want to invite you to continue listening to the Digital Production Buzz after NAB ends. For almost 20 years, the Buzz has covered the media industry for creative storytellers. We look at new technology, new techniques, and the people who turned them into programs. From production to post to marketing and distribution, we focus every show, every week, on helping you grow your creative business. We webcast a new show live every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. Then make it available for download on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and thedigitalproductionbuzz.com. Join the Buzz family and discover what the future of media holds while you still have time to plan for it. I look forward to chatting with you each week. And welcome back to the first day of the 2019 NAB Show. This is Larry Jordan, and I'm talking to Justin Emge. He's the Applications Engineering Manager for ClearCom. Hello, Justin. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
What is an Applications Engineer Manager?
Well, we actually have applications engineers worldwide. We actually have 7 here in the United States. We cover North and South America. We have 3 over in covering all of Europe, including Russia and Africa. And then we also have 3 over in Asia Pacific. So we go out, we commission systems. We go out and do level 2 tech support on site or remotely. We provide support with new product development. So we go and work with the engineers and the guys at the factory even to help them understand what it is that the customer needs, what the customer wants, maybe the problems they're having, or maybe even just new features.
Because ClearCom tends to work, not always, but tends to work with larger enterprises who have more complex requirements, then they would call one of your guys in before the sale starts to help design the system and then see the system through installation?
Actually, they will call in one of our qualified regional sales managers who actually know the system almost as well as an applications engineer. They maybe don't get into that deep into the weeds, but the AEs will actually go in and assist with that. And then once it's sold, we then provide the process to set it up, what they should do to get a large frame configured. And then we also provide an additional training beyond that, because the key is for us to walk away and for the customer to be able to configure their system, make changes, and do it comfortably without having to call us all the time. Because we will provide support, but the customer needs to take care of their own system.
So you're really the installation and training arm.
We don't install, but we provide the support and the commissioning to train and to really help make sure the customer understands what it is that they've got and how to make it work.
Got it. So you're helping me understand how to use the gear.
A little bit, sure.
Yeah, well. So tell me what you guys are talking about here at the show.
Well, for this show, we're talking a lot about AES 67. You know, everybody's talking about that. In
Only
audio.
people that know what AES 67 is. So what is AES 67?
It's a new standard that's coming out, and it's low latency audio that allows you to connect different devices over an IP network. So for example, a lot of our older legacy V-Series panels that you might see at a broadcast facility for directors to talk on and such, they were over 4-wire. Well, now we have AES-67, and those V panels can now connect directly to the panel over the previous IP infrastructure. And again, low latency is the key here.
Now, wait a minute. In other words, I'm replacing a hard wire that connects from your frame to the communications.
To the panel.
To the panel with an IP connection?
Yes.
So I can use Ethernet?
You can use Ethernet, that's correct.
And take it through a regular switch and it's still going to work?
Well, it depends on the switch, because AES-67 is a standard that does require things, for example, PTP, Precision Time Protocol. So you got to have proper PTP in order for the system to communicate and stay in sync. So you can't just take and I don't want to pick on Netgear, but you can't just pick a Netgear unmanaged switch and throw it in the mix. You need to have a proper switch that will handle that traffic.
We like Netgear. We're using Netgear here in our booth, but I can't use it for communications like that, huh?
You can use it on an IVC level. So there's AES-67, which is a whole new level of low latency. We also have another level that's IVC, and that's something we've had for quite a while. In fact, we use it for our V-Series panels for quite a while. We have it with our LQ devices, which do you know anything about an LQ?
Of course not. I always say no when somebody asks me a question like that.
I figured you'd lob that softball up for me. So the LQ is a really cool throw-down device that allows you to connect 2-wire, 4-wire, or GPI-GPO. 2-wire meaning a regular belt pack that you see out in the market that's been out for 50 years now. Then there's the 4-wire, which is just analog audio send and receive, and then GPI-GPO for push-to-talk radios. The cool thing about the LQs, and it being in the IVC realm and not AES-67, is that you can have an LQ sitting in your booth right here, and then you could take an LQ, ship it around to China if you want, and as soon as it connects to the internet and you have everything configured right, it'll immediately connect to this booth, and you could have communication, low latency over the internet, back and forth. So you're going to see a lot of broadcasters using LQs. You could have one in a satellite truck. You could have one with a Liveview backpack. The cool thing about the LQ is it also has other tools inside of it, one of them being an Agent IC, which is an iPhone Android app. So if you guys, again, in this booth, let's say you want to set up some comms, you would have one LQ that would have a 2-wire belt pack for communicating internally. And then if you connected that to the internet, you could have somebody with their cell phone connect back to these guys over 4G and communicate throughout the entire facility. So if you wanted to do a live shot for your podcast somewhere else, you could do it all and communicate to the producer over Agent IC while you're, obviously communicating over your normal connection here. So we're expanding that.
And I don't need a huge frame to be able to tie that into?
Absolutely not. Just one little throw-down box, size of this notepad. Yeah, it's really cool how you can throw that down. In fact, I actually got one to my old high school. They don't have a lot of money. So they have an actual old 2-channel party line system that they bought a long time ago, and they're like, we want wireless. Well, that gets pretty expensive. So what if they all have iPhones and Droids? What high school student doesn't? And they put that guy in there, connected to their original 2-wire system, and immediately they had wireless over their iPhone. And the students love it. So they just bring their little Bluetooth device and they're communicating. So anybody can buy that and use it.
That is too cool. So have we covered all of your new releases for this year?
The one that's probably from earlier this year or late last year actually, again back to AES-67, would be our IPA card and the IP transceiver. And the IPA card it's got so much inside of it. It's got IVC connection, AES-67 connections, and then beyond that, we've also got the IP transceiver that connects to it. What that is FreeSpeak 2, which is our wireless belt pack. The legacy FreeSpeak 2 connected to in 1.9 gigahertz to a transceiver. That transceiver could hold up to 5 belt packs. This new IP transceiver connects up to 10 belt packs, and again, all over a network. The old legacy, you had to have a point-to-point connection from the transceiver back to the frame. With this new one, you have one switch, managed switch from Cisco, let's say, or Netgear, and you could actually connect all these transceivers over IP. So it makes it a little bit easier to set up a larger system.
There's so many options. How do you help customers sort through what's going to work for them?
You just ask them what they want, and we figure out the solution, and it's catered to them. I actually had somebody ask me not too long ago, do we have a boilerplate setup that we can just hand over to a customer. I said, no, there's no such thing for ClearCom. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where, what do you want? And we're going to find the right solution.
Do you think that if I'm buying a new piece of gear, am I looking at something which is IP based? Is that really where I should spend my money, regardless of whether it's a big unit or a small unit?
Absolutely. I think if you look in all of NAB, that's where we're going. So IP solutions is a easy direction going forward. It's the natural direction. So we've everybody's got this, and we're gonna keep going forward with it. It's an amazing technology.
Very cool. Justin, for people who want to learn more about the products that ClearCom has available, where can they go on the web?
So clearcom.com is our best bet. You can also reach out to us. We've got all the contact information for the regional sales managers, including tech support. We've even got Solution Finder. We're there to help out in any way possible.
Very cool. That website is all one word, C-L-E-A-R, clear, C-O-M, clearcom.com. And Justin Emge is the Applications Engineering Manager for ClearCom. And Justin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
Bye-bye. I want to thank our guests for today, Carol Hess for HP, and Michael Gailing for Creative Solutions, Bryce Button for AHAA Video, and Justin Emge for ClearCom. Our senior producer is Debbie Price, our show producer, Pauline Borowski. Transcripts are provided by Simon Says. My name is Larry Jordan, and thanks for listening to the Digital Production Buzz at the 2019 NAB Show.
The Digital Production Buzz at NAB was sponsored by Maxon and by Simply, a global distribution brand.
The Digital Production Buzz at NAB is copyright 2019 by Thalo LLC.